Hey all, we are recording and we are very sorry that the live didn't work, but with Peter being in Dubai, that's just how it went. So we are now doing this on Zoom and we're going to post it on our wall because I am very excited about this and chatting to Peter and asking him these questions and showing it to you guys because he is an inspiration and his energy is just unmatched. I have never met anyone with energy like Peter has. So you guys need to be introduced to him. So yes, hi everybody. This is Picture Stock and I am Kat and I am the in-house photographer for them in Cape Town. And this is our new segment called Black in Business, which is aptly named. It is about Black people in business and their journey up until now. And Peter is our first guest and I'm so excited.
Number one, baby. Breaking that good.
So yes, Peter is going to give you a short intro into himself, and then I'm going to ask him some questions. Go for it.
Happy days. How you guys doing? I'm Peter the Gentleman Lebese, South African born, Joburg raised, left and lived in America for about 6.5 years, and came back, worked in Cape Town. Was in Cape Town for 5 and a bit, made a really good connection, made some really good family out there, working in the industry, and then now I find myself in Dubai and starting a whole new journey, which is going to be really cool. Like a bartender at heart, entertainer at life, and just trying to be a rock star that gets paid minimum wage and make sure that I can make everyone smile as I go in my journey.
With that hat, you definitely are. I think you're on that road for sure. Got some Jack Sparrow vibes going on there.
That's it. Like, at least once or twice a week, I have to wear the hat because it gets so hot out here. If I don't keep myself shaded, I might just end up being like a super blackberry.
I can imagine. I went to Dubai once. It's like no place I've ever been. It's an adjustment, definitely.
It's been fun. Like it's been really cool.
We're gonna get into that. Let me start with my questions, and then we will get into how on earth you've landed up in Dubai, considering I met you here in Cape Town like 2 years ago. Okay, cool. So my first question, which goes into your intro, you are a bartender as well as a mixologist, an entertainer and an MC, obviously with your personality that makes sense. So everyone knows what the other things are, but please explain to us what exactly a mixologist is and how that's different to being a bartender.
Happy days. So it's to me mixology is it's used a bit wrong at the moment and by most people, but it's also used in a sense to uplift our industry and what we do as bartenders, because I feel like a bartender is actually what we do once you guys see us out in our bars, once our doors are open. Because what a bartender does is we focused about the music in our venue. We focused about the lights in our venue. We focused about how the people are interacting and how the people are reacting. But then the mixology part is all about what we do behind the scenes. So it's just when you go to a show, you only see the show on that day, but then you don't see the guys coming in to rehearse, the guys coming in to actually put in the promotions and all that. And that's the mixology part. The mixology part is mainly doing your homework and making sure that all your small back-end things are done properly, researching your drinks, understanding what the history is about your drinks, and also what is the style of the venues and what is the style of the bars and the emotion and the events that you're meant to be working on. And for me, the past 4 years, I've been working mainly in events. So my mixology part has had to be very juggled in a sense of every event has its own certain style, has its own certain element that we have to work to deliver to the people on the day, and also just make sure that I execute the event correctly by knowing exactly what is the brief and what is the feeling that the people want or the guests want whenever they request and they ask for me to come through to the event. So mixology is looked at as now what bartenders are. But then on a bigger note, like I'm a bartender. Mixology, I'm still learning how to be a mixologist because there's a lot more that I still have to learn in the back end. So like learning like a lot of like my history and like my background on like my classic cocktails, that's something that I'm still like, honing every day, which is like something that I love because it just like, it's just more discovery. So that's mixology. Mixology is the back end, what we do before we open up our doors and invite you into our bars. Let's have a good time. Let's serve you a tipple, and let's make sure that you leave the place with a smile and with a good memory. That you don't like the good memory, so that you can tell your friends and hopefully make it your local watering hole.
Awesome. So yeah, it's not just being a bartender, it's the experience as well as doing the drinks, and it's all around everything around the event, which is awesome. And that's cool that you say you're still learning stuff, because obviously as a bartender you get to a certain point and then there's not really much more growth you can get. But then with the mixology, obviously now you're saying that's so cool because now you can learn more. It's like an artist and art. You go and you learn about the people that have come before you to be a good artist. So now you're doing the same thing. You're learning like the cocktails and the drinks that were done ages ago. And now you can either do them the same and give people that experience, or you can sort of alter them and make your own, which is really cool. So there's always growth, which is awesome.
Most definitely. And I guess that's like the whole thing, because like bartending, especially back home, it's been looked at as a thing, whereas like this whole show is all about like Black people in business. And like I feel like back home there's a lot of Black people in hospitality, but like us being in hospitality, we haven't studied hospitality. We haven't really like honed and understood what actually hospitality can do for us. But then we're the first people to be like, oh, why is so and so being promoted? Is it because they're white, or is it because they're this? Like the main reason why people get promoted is because that they actually go back and they actually understand what is it in the industry. Like me being a bartender, me being a waiter, me being a barback is just about like learning exactly like me packing a fridge. Like what is the most efficient way for me to pack it, and what is the best way for me to make sure that my bartenders are always like, they're always on par and they're not asking me for anything. And if I do that correctly, then guess what? I automatically know what the bartenders need, and I automatically know what the bar drinks are. So from knowing that, then I'm feeding off that. So it's just about studying like those small little delicate things that you end up overseeing, because you look at the industry as like, I'm just this, instead of like I'm also part of a business. And like hospitality is a business, and like if we don't like study it and if we don't like enter ourselves in it, we end up losing. So or we end up just staying like the barback or the bartender for 15 years, whereas like you don't see how you can elevate or be more in the industry.
Yep, exactly. Awesome.
Happy
Well,
days.
just that drive, which is great, which doesn't surprise me with you. You do have that drive. So cool. Okay, let's get into our second question. My second question is, how did you get into this line of work? Tell me how you went from like, because I know you get to, wow, I'm that old that it used to be standard 6, grade 8, and then you start doing your aptitude tests and trying to figure out what you want to do. I mean, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer and a vet, but that's because back then that was like the options, or like nurse or doctor. We didn't have the social media managers and all of these cool things that we have now. Like photography was not even on the list. It took me a while before I figured out that I even wanted to do photography. So I'm wondering how you got from that. Like, was it something you always wanted to do? Was it something you just knew you wanted to do from when you were young? Or is it something that you kind of stumbled across through someone else or an experience?
Like I said, like I've always wanted to be a rock star. Like that's one thing like in my life I've just wanted to be. Like I've always enjoyed entertaining people and just being with people. Like I feel like most of my energy is from people that are around me. So like I take the energy that people that are around me give to me, and I just exert it way more, which is something that like while I was in high school, I knew that I didn't want to go to hotel school or anything like that. And like getting like the opportunity to go to hotel school, I was the first to say to my mom, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go somewhere else. And like right at 18, I left, went to America. And while I was there, lucky enough, I got to like work with a few bars and like a few bartenders, and that like actually like grew me and honed me. And by the time I came back home, I was like, there's nothing else for me but this, you know. And it was like that whole thing of like realization without actually like having that, without having like that goal of being like, this is what I want to do. It was just like, it chose me. And like, I feel like 80% that's what bartending does. Like, it chooses you because it's like, it's one thing that you do while you're in high school just for like quick cash.
Yeah.
But then if you in it, and if it loves you and if you love it, you end up understanding that, okay, cool, like it's all good that I go out and after I finish my shift, I go out for drinks and that. But then after 2 or 3 years, you now see like, okay, how do I make a career out of this? And how do I actually like make this bigger than what I actually like just see from clocking in and clocking out and having a big party.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that chose me. And I was lucky that at a young age, my mom was like, you know what, if you choose to leave the country and go abroad, do it. But just make sure that you learn and you take every lesson that you get out there, and like you don't take it for granted. And that's what I did. And like I feel like I'm still doing that every day when I wake up, you know.
Awesome.
Just being a sponge and being a white cloth and just letting people just write on me and just taking it and making those lessons mine.
Yeah, awesome. Cool, good. Then yes, that leads me on to my next question, which is obviously your industry has been very hard hit by COVID and all of these restrictions and the curfews and the alcohol bans that come on like the day before. So tell us how COVID affected you, your work, and how you got through that.
Yeah, like it's rough because like for me, I was back home when COVID hit, and like COVID hits at like a time where I feel that within my career, I was about to like hit another level, you know. But then, and especially for back home, I feel like back home I was about to like hit another threshold. And it's not like COVID like stopped that. It just I feel like it allowed me to also look at like the reflection of within, you know. Like it is really tough because like you have no support from the government back home, and it's just like no bars. Like I don't know any bartenders who have savings and like all that. Like, you know, I was lucky I had a bit of cash around in that, and like that maintained me. And also like the team I was working with and the guys I was working with, like we all came together, and like you'd see like the industry became way tighter, and like everyone is like so helpful with each other. So like
Awesome.
it was really tough. It was something that also allowed me to like look more into me, because as bartenders we tend to like go like years and years without actually having that time to be like, you know what, Peter, how are you? You know,
Yeah.
You know what, Peter, are you having a good day today? You know, because all the time, all we do is like, we have to show up and just show face and just make sure that the other person's having a good time. Whereas COVID, like it allowed me to reflect more, and it allowed me to like see like what are things that actually make me happy, and what are things that I actually want to keep on doing, and what are things that I don't really want to like waste my time on. Yeah. So as much as it was like a tough time, it also was a really, really good time to like grow me, and also just help me reflect within, and also see like, okay, after this, what do I really want to do to make sure that I don't find myself back in this like naughty little situation.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, this next question goes on from that basically. So shortly after, or maybe not shortly after we met, but a while after we met, I remember you doing a campaign, because you were doing it on your social media as well, where you were raising awareness about mental health in the industry, which obviously is quite a big thing, but no one really talks about generally. So can you tell us more about that and where that campaigning took you, and tell us how mental health is, how you find mental health in the industry currently?
Yeah, well, that is actually, that is something that's really big and close to me, like mental health in our industry. But then like that is actually a competition that we did, which was a Cardi Legacy. And the whole thing about the competition was like the top 6 nationalists in South Africa. We had to like run our own campaign for 3 months and build awareness to whatever we felt really close to us and to our hearts. And I found that the 5 years I've been in Cape Town, there's a lot of love and like in our industry, and like there's a lot of love amongst us as bartenders and us as waiters and chefs and that. But then there's also like a lot of just love. There's never a lot of truthness, you know, and there's never a lot of like, let's peel that one layer of skin and let's see like how are you really doing, because some people like we found like like there were like 2 or 3 people that like committed suicide, and there were like, you know, some people who like just left the industry and you just never heard from them again. And like later on when you hear from them, you're like, I was going through this and that, and it's like it's all good that with our industry we always showing a good time, and we're always showing love, and we're always showing happy times. But then I was like, we just also have to be true to each other and just be like, you know what, like who can I actually turn to actually talk about like the pain, because sometimes we do have pains that we have to talk about, but if we don't have like the right people that we know that we can open up to, because it's like, if I go talk to so and so, they're gonna be like, have a shot, or stop being a pussy, just do stop being this.
All good.
You know, stop being a pansy, just do this. It's like you just have to like turn around and just be like, you know what, like within our industry, it's a big thing, because we every day you're trying to make someone else smile. Every day you're trying to make someone else have a good time. Every day you're trying to make someone else have a better experience. Every day you're trying to elevate someone else to a whole new world in a sense. But then whoever does that for us, you know. So if we as bartenders could not like do that for each other, then there's like going to be a big thing. And like I just felt that I just wanted to, and just like what the gentleman is, I just wanted to be like one of those guys in the industry that are like, look, I'm the bartender's bartender. So if you know me, or if you don't know me, and you're South African or African bartender or international bartender, and you want to have a chat, like I'm here, you know, message me. And like if you just want to talk, or if you just want to go out for a walk or something, if you just want someone to sit with you, I'm here, and that's what we can do. And like just by starting that, like I feel like it also brought more awareness to us as like industry folk, to what we can do for each other, and how we can actually be more truthful for each other, and like actually finding small things like, let's go out for a run, you know, like, let's join into, let's play fives or something like that. And doing those small little things, like it just helps you clear out, because you end up like, your life ends up like just being you and your bar, or you and your restaurant. And then you never have time to like actually just go out and be like, I'm just going to go by a walk on the promenade, you know, like when you find yourself taking a walk on the promenade, it's like you're either trying to impress someone or do this. It's never just like fucking going for a walk and just being you. So yeah, that is like the whole thing about it. And yeah, it's still really close to me. And I did like, I stopped on it for a bit, but I think I do have to bring it back and just, and I feel like I'm doing it now with my Instagram, but like the outsider, I need to like repopulate it and like just lift it up again and just make it shine and get people happier and like just jumping and jiving.
Yep, I think that's a good thing. I think you should. Cool. Okay, so on that, tell us how the Gentleman came to be, and how the brand has sort of like changed over the years, if it has, how it's sort of grown and become this thing that is now your Instagram, which is at the Gentleman with 2 E's on Instagram.
Yeah, well, the Gentleman, like it's actually, it's something that myself and a really, really good friend of mine, Ken and Tat. So we started this, we started calling ourselves Gentlemen when we took over the Secret Gin Bar. So the Secret Gin Bar out in Cape Town, like we took it as like the head bartenders, like about like 6 or 8 months into the bar being open. And him and I, like we wanted to like bring a certain like look and feel and like understanding of like what that venue was. And it is like not like changing what the venue was as like the outside, but like also like just changing like the perception of what people saw the bartenders as. So him and I like started this thing as like, as bartenders, we have to come to the bar like with like a button-up shirt. There's no like t-shirts in the bar and stuff like that, because we never had like a uniform. So we kept ourselves very gentlemanly, and we're like, you know, gentlemen are like they always like show the part, but they are really like messed up on the other side, you know. And that's what we were like. we always show the part, we always play the part, but then we also could really party really hard. So it started off with like, yeah, us being like these two bartenders that like every like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Wednesdays, like we'd always like work the bar together, and people just loved it. And like people would come to the bar and ask for us. So like it started there. Then eventually we got approached by a really cool mate, Wes Billett and Brett Aiken, and they're the guys that do We Love Summer and Festival, and they asked us if we'd like run a gin bar for them at their festivals, and we ended up doing those for a while. And after like 2 and a bit years, like Ken, because he's big in music and he's like, yeah, he's a power musician. He just saw that like, yeah, like he can't do both, and he's just like, Pete, do you want to take this over? And I was like, I'm definitely taking it over, because this is a passion for me, where his passion is mainly yes, being an entertainer and like being part of the industry, but then also like his big passion was his music. It was like his music was what he lived for and what he did. So I ended up taking it more solely and being the gentleman. And like the gentleman just end up like, yeah, we just wanted to find like something as like, who's that naughty Scully that also is like, you know, the dapper gentleman who like, I arrive at the party looking good, but I also leave there still looking good, but I've made a lot of noise that you're like, yeah, that person is a problem, eh? And that's where the gentleman has been. And like, it's really funny because like also the gin bar itself, like it also like, that was like where the birth of me was, you know, in a sense, like back home industry. So like the birth of like what I wanted to be as a bartender and all that. So like helped me hone that and like understand. Then from there, opening like the botanical bar, and then ending up to like freelancing for a while, then joining the guys at Sip Exclusive, and then being like the beverage consultant there. That just like ended up like honing me and like like getting to work with like certain brands. It just like ended up like just chiseling me to still be myself, but then also understand like working with corporations and a certain brand, what is the language that they want to hear, but then also how do I still be true to myself and also true to my industry and like my industry folk. So yeah, that's what it is. That's the gentleman, like the bartender's bartender, you know.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think which
Naughty and dapper.
and this leads me into my next question. So I met you probably about 2 years ago in Cape Town. You said you're originally from Joburg. You're in Cape Town for about 5 years, I think you said. So how did you land up in Cape Town from Joburg, and how have you now landed up in Dubai, of all places?
Yeah, so so the Cape Town from Joburg. So I literally right after high school, I left for America, and I lived in America like 6 years, and then found myself coming back home. And like when I came back home, this is like end of 2014. I just like didn't feel like I want to be in Joburg, you know. So I ended up going to visit some mates in Cape Town, and somehow like that city just bit me. And like 5 years later, like find myself calling mom and being like, hey, I'm Cape Townian, you know that, right?
Is that how long it takes? Because now I've been here 5 years, so I'm Cape Townian now.
So like it was like just that thing. It's like I came back home from like living abroad for so long, and like also just like I feel like leaving home at like 18 as a young kid, where like I've never lived so far from home, and like living in America, whereas you don't have your mom to call and like her to just like come up and like help you if you had a problem. So that just like grew me so much. And then coming back home, and like I was back in Joburg, and I found myself in Joburg, and I was like, whoa, like I'm just too close to comfort, you know. I have to be somewhere like I'm a bit not as comfortable and not as like this is just familiar. So I've always just wanted to like just, you know, throw myself in like situations that like push me about and like that test me. So moving to Cape Town was a beautiful time for me, and a really, 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 really cool experience, and a really cool growing experience. Like it's always going to be home for me now. Like it's done. There's no question. And then like within lockdown, like a friend of mine, like I actually touched base with like a friend of mine who I met in Sudera. So Sudera Fernando, I like touched base with him. Like I met him like 6 years ago. 2 years ago. Oh, 2 years ago. I mean, like, but I knew a lot a while
Feels
back.
like forever, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's everything is like 20 years, you know. It doesn't 2 years doesn't count. So I met him like 2 years ago in Amsterdam, and I touched base with him, and I was like, yo, like, I'm really keen to, like, get out the country and like do something. And he told me about this project that he has going up here in Dubai. And he's like, yeah, he's like, because of COVID, he's also heading back home for a bit. But then if everything comes together with this project, he'd love to have me, and like, just have me come be like the irritation in his ear. So I was like, cool, like, I'm down for that. And yeah, like that, just like, we just ended up like just chatting and seeing what we could do, and like exactly what like the project was about. And I like, it was a project that, like, to me, it's something that I fell in love with, because it's a good challenge, it's exciting, and it's also it's a venue that has like no bars, so like it has no restrictions, because there's so many dimensions and directions to play with at this venue. So we ended up like having a full-on meeting and interview with the bigger heads, and they like me too. So within lockdown, we just had to like make the decision and make the call, like, do we wait for lockdown to happen again and me like not get allowed to like get out the country, or do we just send me to Namibia, and from Namibia quarantine for a bit and then come to Dubai? And so now did the whole quarantine thing, came to Dubai, and we're opening the project end of August, which is going to be a really cool seven piece bar venue. It's like seven piece bar venue, which is called Papa Bar Village. Can I say it? Yeah.
Too late.
That's gonna be cool. So the place is the place is gonna be called Papa Bar Village, and it opened up in Moscow first, and then this is the second one that they're opening in Dubai. And I'm really happy, and I'm really like privileged to be one of the guys that's gonna be here, and being like, I was one of the guys when this place started here. So now I find myself getting climatized and turning darker by the day.
Awesome. So you've taken a really tough time and just made it work for you, which is amazing.
I feel like that's the only way to look at it, because like, again, like, the more we look at like the hardships, like the more you end up not actually getting out there and like actually seeing the good things that are there for you. So like, again, like I said, like within COVID, like a lot of like, there were really cool opportunities that came, but then also there weren't opportunities that were for me. So, some opportunities came and gone, but like opportunities that were for me, like I find myself taking them and just being a feather that just goes with the wind, and like, again, like the wind always knows where your direction is. You just have to be a feather and just allow yourself to flow with it.
Exactly. So that leads into my next question. You're doing this very well. So what is the plan after Dubai, or has it just kind of been left open-ended and you're going to see where the wind takes you?
Yeah, well, at the moment, like I'm only like 3.5 weeks in here. So being here for 3.5 weeks, I haven't even thought that far. Like, the whole plan for Dubai now is to just become one of the most recognized bartenders within the city, and hopefully start being like globally, and like just pushing with the team and just making sure that our bar, number one, is like the most recognized, and people do talk about and like love what we do. And if that can, like, if I can do that, and if we can do that, then I just know that from there on, there's like, the sky's the limit. And like I said, like, I don't make plans, the universe tells me where to go, and I just go with it. So I'll definitely be here for about like 2 years, and then take it from there. Like, there's no rush. There's no rush for a good thing.
Yep. Awesome. Good. Very cool. So, is there anything else that we've left out that you want to add that I haven't asked you?
Well, you haven't asked me how am I doing today.
How are you doing today, Peter? How is your Wednesday treating you?
I'm fine. No, I'm well. I'm good. Like, it's really, really, really exciting. Like, it's just like every day has just been like, better and better. Like, a few challenges where it's like, you like every day, like I miss a friend back home, and you miss like you're missing something back home, and you're just like, you know, fuck, I wish I could have been there, and I wish I could have done this, and you know, but then like it's also like at the end of the day, like fuck it, I'm sharing so much. I'm so sorry. But it's,
Okay.
yeah, I hope you can bleep that out. But like at the end of the day, it's like I find myself like being like, as much as I'm missing all this, I'm also making new memories and just growing like new situations, and that which just become better for me, and also better for those around me, and those that actually support me, and my friends and all those people that I think about every day, and like get to chat to. Like, you know, like I don't chat to people as often, but then I also do make sure that once a week or so I touch base and make sure that we're all good and everything is smiley and everything is groovy. So I think we're doing well, and like I'm really good, and there's nothing sad in my heart, which is amazing.
Good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing very well. I'm very proud of you, Peter.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, can you make us a drink? And if so,
I can.
what are you gonna make?
We're gonna do something really nice and easy, because like I really feel like with this heat, like and just with I know like it's winter back home, but then also like it's summer here for me, so I'm gonna like play something a bit tropical, but also something nice and refreshing. So I'm gonna make a nice little highball. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stand up, and then I'm gonna like actually like have to elevate this so you guys can see what I do as I go. But it's just it's a nice, beautiful tequila drink, which is literally taking some white tequila, a little bit of pineapple juice,
Very nice glass.
and tonic. But then over here we got like the Fentimans. It's like a nice yuzu tonic, and then just orange to garnish. Stir it up, and it's a good time.
Cool.
Right? Awesome. Happy days. Let's make this work.
Very nice apron. I like it.
Easy days. Styling and delicious. So you want to pour about 40 to 50 mils of your tequila, right?
What is that? Is that one or two shots?
2 shots.
Okay.
So about 2 shots or 2.5 shots, or 1.5 shots, 1.5 or 2 shots. Then your pineapple juice, you're just gonna give it like also just half of what you poured. So if you poured 1.5, you're gonna pour like about 15 mils. But if you poured a double, you're gonna pour 25 mils. Nice and clean, not too much. And then never forget, every good drink that deserves ice needs all the ice.
Yes.
So as much ice as possible, all the way to the top. And then tonic.
Amazing.
Look at that, right?
Very nice.
I'm gonna use my long finger now. It's like my extension to my hand. Oh, honey. And then nice little garnish with orange. And that's it. We call this one Happy Days.
Very nice. Looks super refreshing for your summer. Here I am, very wintered, but perfect for where you are.
That's it. But like that's the whole thing. Like it's tequila, so it'll also warm you up. And also like the yuzu is also really, really cool. Like it's nice, beautiful citrus notes. So if you do, like I know back home you don't get yuzu, but then if you get like a Fits and Needs grapefruit tonic, that also is beautiful. So you can use that. Or you can just use any tonic you want. There's nothing wrong with that. And then a bit of pineapple juice. And if you want to sweeten it up a bit, add like one or 2 bar spoons of like simple syrup or honey, and you're golden.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
That's it.
Enjoy that. I wish I had one over here.
I'm virtually sending you one.
Virtually, thank you. Through Zoom, it could be a new plugin they're gonna add. That would be amazing.
Yeah. If I could like send you one, like I would, but like I don't know the laws yet. Like I might just get in trouble for like.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, I rather don't. Cool. Okay, I don't want to make it too long because I don't know how the reposting is on Instagram. I think max is like an hour, and I can't actually remember when we started. So I don't want to make it too
Cool.
long. But yeah, if there's anything else that you want to add that we haven't touched on, let me know.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and thank you for allowing me to be the first person that you interview. I knew it was going to be amazing the first day I met you. Knew that like, yeah, there's always going to be like good vibes and a really cool journey with you. And it's always been fun. Like every time I see you, every time we just have a chat, it's just always like, yeah, brings a smile to my face, because you are a really, really lovely human. And keep doing like what you do, like for us, which is like amazing. Like not just for
Thank you.
yeah, it's like
I feel
you know, just with good creativity and just like with how you share your knowledge, and that is just amazing. And just being there for people is just amazing. And like, yeah, thanks a lot, love you lots, and can't wait to see you and share a drink with you soon.
Thank you. Sending all the love. And yes, I'll come visit you in Dubai.
Yes, definitely.
When I can get out the country.
That's the one. Okay, Kat.
Cool.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you
And
so
like, hey,
much. Thank you.
everyone that's gonna watch this, everyone that's gonna watch this, look into my eyes. That's a lot of love. And look into my smile. That's all the stars. So don't blink. Just shine. That's all we can do, and have a good time. Happy days.
Amazing. Thank you, Peter. Check us and we'll follow you on Instagram.
Please, happy days.
Cool.
Love you loads.
Bye.
Bye. Boom.